about Odegaard. Because I feel there's been a lot of hype about Odegaard, people. I feel there's been a lot of conclusions, you know, a lot of conclusions drawn about Odegaard, people. Don't get it twisted. I'm not turning on Odegaard. I know I've seen a lot of people were praising him to high heavens and then critiquing him to extremes, you know, away from balance, praising and critiquing fairly. I was disappointed with Odegaard. In fact, I've been disappointed with Odegaard in the last 2 games. Benfica he wasn't being the people then weren't giving him the ball, but I think he accepted it, a bit like what I just said about Aubameyang. Anonymous against City. Now, like I said, you know, the midfield, you know, like I said for Lacazette, you know, if Xhaka, and El Nene don't have the bravery to find their man in between the lines or the ability to find their man when he's making runs, then how can I expect him to do his thing, really? So I give him that luxury. But at the same time, like with Aubameyang, just because that is the case doesn't mean you can't go deep, turn on it, and just, obviously nobody's in the channel, and just spin something, just make something happen. So again, I do think tactically players are hard done by, but I look at mentality, and I just think on the ball, Odegaard was poor. He's giving the ball away, over-hitting passes, under-hitting passes. For me, he kept trying to play it first time. It weren't happening. It's probably just a bad day at the office. But the technical ability, the minimum I wanted to see wasn't there, you know. And the best and worst criticism I can give of Odegaard is, you know, he looks like the best positive I can give him is, like I said earlier, he looks like an Arsenal player. You know, technically great, you know, everything we look for in a player, definitely since Arsene Wenger took over this club. The criticism I can say is he looks like an Arsenal player. You know, technically good, looks a bit soft for want of better words, resigned to defeat, hides, not taking responsibility. And admittedly, I'm a bit harsher on Odegaard because you're not our player permanently, because you're here for a couple of months, because all he heard is you just want a platform, you know. You've got the platform. 2 big games, bottled it, you know, Real Madrid. This is why you're not playing at Real Madrid, really and truly. And there's been a lot of talk about keeping him permanently and stuff like that. Like I said, you know, I'm not turning on him. He's still a good player. I'm still happy to have him here. But, you know, there's been a lot of conclusions even before the man kicked the football. Let's see how it goes. Because like Ceballos, if it was just on technical ability, of course, sign Odegaard. But we need to see a bit more. We need players, you know, away from technical level. People forget we need players that are mentally with this thing, you know, players that are on this thing. Because we've been having players that are good technically. It's just when the tough times come, players are hiding. And like I said, man, he gave the ball away at any given opportunity. For me, and any possibility is very poor. I think too many conclusions are being drawn. I think we're speaking about Odegaard and just far too much extremes. We know he's a good player, but let's just call and wait and see, people. You know, it's all on him. Like I said with Odegaard, it's all on him. You're joining mid-season. You've got an opportunity to play. We're trying to get into Europe. You know, you're here for a couple of months. It's vital to hit the ground running. I wanted to see a Real Madrid leader. You look no different from some random Hayland Academy player that came through and he's playing his first game. I saw a very scared Odegaard, and I didn't think that was there. I thought you would have had that healthy sort of chip on your shoulder and say, all right, cool. I'm here because I want to play big games. I didn't start against United. I'm here because I want to show Madrid that I can get big games. You know, let's be real. Arsenal versus City, like all the big teams in the Premier League, like all the big games in Spain and whatnot, everybody over the world's watching them. This could have been a time to put a statement out. You know, we've heard all sorts of things that Real Madrid aren't happy with Odegaard speaking and things like that. Is what it is. And, you know, it looks like Zidane might not even be Real Madrid gaffer again. So you, Ceballos, you know, Jovic, all these players that are on the cusp of things at Real Madrid, you have a chance to remind people that you should be used, and they've maybe been a hasty decision. I haven't seen that really. You know, you ain't enhanced your reputation really. So again, hopefully there's more to come. He'd still get it from me. I probably would drop him for the Benfica game because he's had 2 opportunities now on the spin and he's not taking them. But I'm still rocking with Odegaard. But I just feel people need to slow down, you know, with the hype. You know, he's a great player technically, but if being a good player technically is the minimum, then, you know, the bar is low. I need to see some real consistency, and I haven't seen that. But it's still early, and to be fair, he still is adapting. But these things, I don't want to hear about adapting. We're in February. You knew the dynamics. You knew you was leaving Real Madrid mid-season. You knew what's going on with our season. So it's crazy. You know, it's simple as that. You know, the excuses are kind of thin. He's not our player, so I need to see a return. If not, it's looking like an expensive 2.5 million loan fee, really and truly, people. So let's see what happens firmly in that regards, people. Let's see. Moving away from that, though, people, and I'm going to talk about Martinelli in a sec. I'm going to talk about Martinelli in a sec because I want to.